He showed up with a sign that said,
"Kicking is easy."
One of the most unpredictable players in football made one of the most unpredictable moves of all time. That's how Pat McAfee remembers it. The night when Troy Polamalu, one of the NFL's greatest safeties, lined up in the exact spot Pat had planned to run a fake field goal.
not once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and covered, stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence, right before set, he just bounces right over to the C gap.
Over the head and incomplete. So Vinatieri made one on the game's first drive from about 23. McAfee on the hold, and the Colts put 3 on the board.
Pat McAfee is the kind of guy who can turn any moment into an unforgettable one. Whether he's on the field pulling off a play no one else would even dream of, or on camera sharing the story with his trademark humor, McAfee's lived experiences are as wild as they are real. It's this raw energy that's propelled him from NFL punter to one of the most dynamic personalities in sports media. McAfee took what many saw as a limited role, a punter, and used it as the launch pad for an extraordinary career. He seamlessly transitioned from standout moments in the NFL to dominating the sports talk world and even stepping into the wrestling ring. His career is a testament to his unique mix of talent, personality, and relentless hustle. But to truly understand Pat McAfee, you have to appreciate how he turns the unexpected into the unforgettable. From his beginnings as a small-town kid in Plum, Pennsylvania, to becoming an NFL star and now one of the most exciting voices in sports media and entertainment, McAfee has constantly broken boundaries. His story isn't just about achieving success, it's about rewriting the rules and proving that an athlete's legacy doesn't stop with the game. This is the story of the one and only Pat McAfee. Chapter 1. Early Life and College Career. Pat McAfee was born May 2nd, 1987. He grew up in Plum, Pennsylvania, a small suburb of the Pittsburgh metropolitan area. He was more than just a football player, he was a multi-sport standout. At Plum High School, McAfee lettered in football, soccer, and volleyball, proving his versatility and raw athletic talent. By his sophomore year, he had already earned national recognition as a punt, pass, and kick champion. McAfee's talents weren't limited to football. He also excelled in soccer, receiving interest from over 75 colleges to play the sport at the next level. But deep down, McAfee knew where his true passion was, kicking for a Division I football program. As his senior year approached, Pat was determined to turn that dream into reality. In one of the boldest moves of his young life, McAfee took a gamble on himself. After winning $1,400 in an illegal poker game, the kind high school kids play at a friend's house, he used the money to fly to Miami and compete in a national field goal competition. What happened next would change the course of his life. McAfee made 9 consecutive field goals, starting at 25 yards and moving back in 5-yard increments. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for, a 70-yard attempt. The ball sailed just wide of the uprights, but the sheer power behind it had everyone talking. That was all Tony Gibson, the recruiting coordinator for West Virginia University, needed to see. McAfee had already earned a full scholarship offer from Kent State University, but WVU was a different level. They were a Division I powerhouse. After his performance in Miami, McAfee walked away with a full-ride scholarship offer to kick at West Virginia, fulfilling his dream of playing at the highest level of college football. Pat McAfee's high school sports career wasn't just about winning games. It was about proving that he had what it took to succeed. His multi-sport background, coupled with his exceptional kicking abilities, led him to a scholarship with West Virginia, setting the stage for the next chapter in his journey toward the NFL. At West Virginia University, McAfee didn't just blend into the team, he became the team's secret weapon. As a freshman, he locked in the starting kicker role and immediately started putting up numbers. By his senior year, Pat was already on everyone's radar, from being a Lou Groza Award semifinalist to earning a finalist nod for the Ray Guy Award. But it wasn't just about the stats, it was about the moments. Let's rewind the clock a bit to 2005, McAfee's freshman year, West Virginia versus Louisville. Pat's Mountaineers are down 24-7 with less than 8.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Pat White and the offense put together a magical drive and added 7 points to the board. Then the Mountaineers asked McAfee to do the impossible, successfully kick an onside.
Pooch kickoff by McAfee. Loose ball fielded and caught by West Virginia. Penalty marker will be
Momentum started to shift. Louisville didn't back down, though. After a lot of back and forth, West Virginia ended up winning 46-44 in triple overtime. We could talk about McAfee's kicking highlights for days. The onside kicks, all of the times he stood in the pocket and drew roughing the kicker penalties, dropping the ball within the 20-yard line countless times, and becoming the Mountaineers' all-time team-leading scorer. Not to mention all of the times he kicked game-winning field goals or nailed the onside kicks when his team needed him most. He was money under pressure. But no story is complete without its low points, and Pat McAfee's career had its share of heartbreak. In 2007, the stakes couldn't have been higher. West Virginia was on the cusp of clinching a spot in the BCS National Championship. All they had to do was beat Pitt, a team that seemed outmatched on paper. But football is a cruel game, and nothing is guaranteed. In what would later be known as the backyard brawl, McAfee faced 2 critical field goals. Miss 1, and the pressure mounts. Miss 2, it's the kind of gut punch that sticks with you. Both kicks missed their mark, and just like that, West Virginia's title hopes evaporated. It wasn't just a loss for the team, it was personal for McAfee. He walked off that field devastated, carrying the weight of that loss on his shoulders. But here's the thing about Pat. He didn't let failure define him. If anything, it fueled him. Those missed kicks in one of the biggest games of his life didn't break McAfee. They became the very moments that hardened him, that made him more resilient. In football and later in life, McAfee learned that setbacks weren't roadblocks. They were just part of the journey. And in the years to come, Pat McAfee would prove that the journey was far from over. Chapter 2, NFL Career. It's the 2009 NFL Draft, and Pat McAfee's name gets called in the 7th round, 222nd overall. Now most 7th-round picks don't get the fanfare. They don't come in with the expectation of changing the game. But McAfee, he was different. He was about to take the NFL by storm in ways no one saw coming. Drafted by the Indianapolis Colts, Pat had a chance to prove himself on the biggest stage in football. And in his rookie season, he got a taste of the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 44, Pat was on the field, kicking off for the Colts against the New Orleans Saints. The Colts came up short that night, but for McAfee, this wasn't the end of a dream. It was just the beginning. Over the next 8 seasons, McAfee became more than just a punter. He became a game changer, making the all-rookie team, making 2 Pro Bowl appearances. First team All-Pro in 2014. He wasn't just punting the ball, he was booming it, flipping field position like no one else in the league. His touchbacks on kickoffs, record-breaking. His punting stats, dominating the league. But for Pat, it wasn't about stats. It was about making an impact, and oh boy, did he leave his mark. Let's talk about that onside kick. Colts versus Texans, 2014, 4th quarter. McAfee steps up, but instead of blasting the ball deep, he pulls off one of the sneakiest plays of his career, an onside kick that he recovered himself. The Texans' special teams didn't even know what hit them, and McAfee took a bow and then jogged off the field like it was another day at the office. And then there were the fake punts. The Colts' special teams became notorious for their trick plays, and who better to execute them than Pat McAfee? From running fake punts to stepping in as the team's emergency quarterback, McAfee wasn't just a punter, he was a secret weapon. Of course, it wasn't all perfect. McAfee's worst play in NFL history breakdown is a story of epic miscommunication, a play so infamously bad that it's burned into the memory of every Colts fan.
The worst play in the history of football, and that play just so happens to only have one name attached to it and a graphic at the bottom of the screen. It's mine.
But leave it to McAfee to take one of the league's most embarrassing moments and turn it into a viral sensation with his hilarious commentary.
Known as the worst football play in history, and my guy, that is not the same play, my guy Griff Whalen, we just showed a picture of a kickoff return where Griff Whalen was getting tackled. He never had the ball and got tackled in that play. Colt Anderson did. Griff Whalen is now known as the worst center in NFL history.
How about all of the hit stick moments? Pat McAfee enjoyed contact and would lay the boom. Some say that he would miss his target on kickoffs, making him have to step up to make the tackle. Maybe, but wow, when he did, he did. And let's not forget the Twitter photo incident. One day, Pat accidentally tweeted a locker room photo with Andrew Luck standing in the background, completely nude. The fallout? A $10,000 fine from the Colts in a locker room full of laughter. But it wasn't all laughs and trick plays. Behind the scenes, things weren't always smooth. Pat's relationship with Colts GM Ryan Grigson grew strained over the years. And then, there were the injuries. 3 knee surgeries in 4 years. Each one taking its toll, each one making it harder to stay at the top of his game. He also went for a swim, one that he probably shouldn't have. In October 2010, Pat McAfee found himself in hot water. Well, cold water, allegedly. One night, after a bit too much hanging out with the boys, if you know what I mean, McAfee was found by police, shirtless, wet, and having allegedly taken an impromptu swim in a nearby canal. Pat says allegedly because he was so intoxicated that he does not remember what happened. There were no eyewitnesses, just a heavily impaired Pat McAfee, shirtless, soaking wet, walking down the street. Pat McAfee's NFL career wasn't about being just another punter. It was about redefining what a punter could be, both on and off the field. A guy who took his platform, maximized it, and did it all with his signature style of humor, charisma, and of course that powerful leg. But this was just the beginning of his next chapter, and it would be even bigger. Chapter 3: Rise in Media. In 2017, at just 29 years old, Pat McAfee did something almost no one expected. He walked away from the NFL at the height of his career. Fresh off a second Pro Bowl season and with his leg as strong as ever, McAfee retired. But it wasn't the knee surgeries or the grind of the NFL that sealed his decision. It was a chance to step into the unknown. For most athletes, retirement is the end. For McAfee, it was a new beginning. Shortly after hanging up his cleats, McAfee announced that he was joining Barstool Sports, and with that, the Pat McAfee Show was born. It wasn't just a sports talk show, it was his platform, a place where he could be exactly who he was, unfiltered, unapologetic, and always entertaining. But McAfee wasn't one to stay in someone else's shadow for long. By 2018, creative differences and issues with transparency at Barstool led him to take another leap. He left the company and went independent. That's when Pat McAfee Inc. was born, and with it, the next phase of the Pat McAfee Show. This wasn't just about sports, it was about everything. McAfee and his crew tackled NFL games, college football, pop culture, and everything in between. His no-holds-barred, candid conversations and viral moments quickly caught fire. Fans loved the blend of sports analysis, humor, and McAfee's larger-than-life personality. And that fan base, it exploded. The show became a phenomenon, pulling in millions of views and carving out its own place in the world of sports media. McAfee's rise from YouTube to mainstream media wasn't just impressive, it was game-changing. In 2023, ESPN came calling with a multi-million-dollar offer, and McAfee took the Pat McAfee Show to new heights. Now airing live across ESPN, ESPN Plus, and still streaming on YouTube, McAfee had officially broken into the upper echelon of sports media. His reach expanded even further, bringing his candid, relatable style to an even larger audience. Going from Barstool Sports to a multi-million-dollar deal wasn't an easy road though. Pat hustled. He worked very hard to get to where he currently is. He took his show to a few different stations, streams, and XM. He had some regular guests that started to become regular co-hosts. He later got the opportunity to call college games on Fox Sports, helping grow his popularity. He continued to grind away on his Pat McAfee Show. Then he became the color analyst for Thursday night college football games. That opened the door for him to become a full-time analyst for College Game Day.
We want Cox here. We want Cox around here.
Even with ESPN backing him, McAfee stayed true to his roots. The Pat McAfee Show is still raw, still real, and still all Pat. And the show, it only got better. From Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays, where the 4-time MVP quarterback made weekly appearances to dish out exclusive insights, to blockbuster guests like Brock Lesnar, JJ Watt, and Vince McMahon, the Pat McAfee Show became must-watch content. Each episode is filled with McAfee's signature humor, sharp sports analysis, and his incredible storytelling. Whether he is breaking down the NFL's biggest plays or sharing hilarious stories about his own playing days, McAfee has fans glued to their screens, hanging on his every word. Pat McAfee's journey from the gridiron to the media world wasn't just a transition, it was a transformation. He built an empire on authenticity, creating a space where sports meets comedy and fans can feel like they're part of the conversation. From NFL punter to media mogul, Pat McAfee continues to redefine what it means to be a sports personality, and he's just getting started. Chapter 4: Wrestling Career. Pat McAfee's larger-than-life persona wasn't bound by the sidelines of a football field or the studio of a sports show. In 2018, he made his first appearance into the world of professional wrestling, starting as a guest commentator and analyst for WWE's NXT. With his natural charisma and passion for storytelling, McAfee quickly became a fan favorite, fitting seamlessly into the world of WWE, where entertainment and athleticism collide. But McAfee's journey in wrestling wouldn't be limited to the announcer's booth. At NXT TakeOver XXX in 2020, McAfee shocked the wrestling world by stepping into the ring against one of NXT's biggest stars, Adam Cole. It was a moment no one saw coming. Critics doubted McAfee's ability to hang with a top-tier wrestler, but by the end of the night it was clear Pat McAfee wasn't just there to commentate, he was there to perform. McAfee's performance in the ring stunned fans and critics alike. His athleticism, combined with his sharp wit, made him a natural fit for the squared circle. The match wasn't just a one-off, it marked the beginning of McAfee's rise as a bona fide WWE personality. Soon after, McAfee was thrust into the Kings of NXT storyline, where he led a faction alongside Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. His mic skills and showmanship elevated the group, making him one of the most entertaining personalities in NXT, but his talents didn't stop there. McAfee's transition to commentary on Friday Night SmackDown brought his infectious energy to WWE's flagship show. Whether calling the action alongside Michael Cole or taking part in special pay-per-view events, McAfee infused every broadcast with the same humor, insight, and unpredictability that made him a star in sports media.
Pat McAfee, living his dream, is about to step into this ring at WrestleMania and face Austin Theory.
Global audience, McAfee squared off against Austin Theory, delivering a performance that had the crowd on its feet. But it didn't stop there. After defeating Theory, McAfee found himself in an impromptu match against none other than Vince McMahon. Though McMahon walked away victorious, the real highlight came when wrestling legend Stone Cold Steve Austin entered the ring, delivering his signature stunner to McAfee, McMahon, and Theory in a moment that immediately went viral. These memorable moments cemented McAfee's place in WWE history, expanding his audience beyond the world of sports. His ability to blend athleticism with entertainment resonated with fans from all walks of life. From guest commentator to in-ring performer, Pat McAfee's journey in WWE is yet another testament to his versatility and star power. Just as he did in the NFL and sports media, McAfee brought his unique brand of energy and charisma to the world of professional wrestling, proving that no arena or ring is too big for him to conquer. Chapter 5: Philanthropy and Personal Life. While Pat McAfee's larger-than-life personality and successful career in sports and entertainment are well known, his commitment to giving back is equally remarkable. In 2011, McAfee established the Pat McAfee Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing scholarships to the children of U.S. military personnel. This cause is deeply personal to McAfee, who has consistently expressed his admiration and respect for the sacrifices made by military families. Through his foundation, McAfee has helped countless students pursue higher education, easing the financial burden on families who have given so much in service to the country. But his charitable efforts don't stop there. McAfee has donated generously to a variety of causes, including his hometown high school's sports teams, helping fund equipment and facilities to ensure future athletes have the resources they need to succeed. His contributions to children's hospitals and other organizations have impacted communities nationwide, further solidifying McAfee's legacy as someone who uses his platform for good. Off the screen and away from the spotlight, Pat McAfee's life took another important turn when he married Samantha Ludi in 2020. In 2023, they welcomed their first child, a milestone that McAfee shared with his fans, offering glimpses of his joy as a new father. Despite his busy schedule in sports media and entertainment, McAfee makes time for his family, often speaking about the balance he strives to maintain between his career and personal life. McAfee also maintains strong friendships with fellow athletes, including WWE's Baron Corbin, whom he met during their time as rookies with the Indianapolis Colts. The two have remained close, bonding over their shared love for wrestling and football, with McAfee often praising Corbin's talent in the ring. His friendships and his deep connection to the military community highlight a different side of McAfee. In every aspect of his life, whether it's his professional success, charitable work, or personal relationships, Pat McAfee's authenticity shines through. His ability to connect with people, both on and off the field, has made him one of the most beloved figures in sports and entertainment today. Chapter 6: Legacy and Cultural Impact. Pat McAfee didn't just leave the NFL, he shattered the mold of what post-playing careers could look like for athletes. With his ability to seamlessly blend humor, sports analysis, and an undeniable sense of authenticity, McAfee has carved out a unique place in sports media. Unlike many traditional commentators, McAfee doesn't just talk about the game, he lives it, using his experience as an NFL player to offer insights that resonate with hardcore sports fans while still being accessible and entertaining to casual viewers. The success of the Pat McAfee Show speaks volumes. Launched in 2019, the show quickly became a must-watch for its candid, unfiltered takes on the biggest moments in sports. What sets it apart is McAfee's natural charisma and his ability to make even the most technical sports topics relatable. Whether he's breaking down the intricacies of a quarterback's cadence or sharing a laugh with NFL legends, McAfee creates an atmosphere that feels less like a traditional broadcast and more like a conversation between friends. It's this authenticity that has redefined how sports commentary is delivered, making it more engaging, relatable, and most importantly fun. McAfee's success isn't just about versatility, it's about reinvention. He's gone from being a 7th-round NFL pick to becoming a multi-platform media mogul, a comedian, and even a cultural icon. It's not just his ability to wear many hats, it's his knack for doing it well that has made him a standout in each field he's entered. Whether on the football field, in the wrestling ring, or behind the mic, McAfee's larger-than-life personality continues to draw in fans from all walks of life. So, what's next for Pat McAfee? With his media empire continuing to grow and his role in sports media expanding, the possibilities seem endless. Will he return to the WWE full-time after his current break, continuing to electrify wrestling fans with his commentary and in-ring performances? Or will he focus on further expanding the Pat McAfee Show, bringing even more athletes, entertainers, and celebrities into the fold? One thing's for sure, whatever McAfee chooses to do next, it will be done with the same humor, passion, and authenticity that have defined his career so far. Whether it's sports, entertainment, or new ventures yet to be explored, Pat McAfee has proven time and again that there's no limit to what he can achieve. And as he looks toward the future, fans can expect more of the bold, unpredictable moves that have made him one of the most exciting figures in sports today. Chapter 7: Nowhere Near Done. Pat McAfee is proof that the unconventional path can sometimes be the best one. That with hard work and pouring your passion into your work, you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. From the moment he first kicked a football, to the countless points he's put on the board, not with a throw or a run, but with a booming leg and a steady hand, Pat McAfee has redefined what it means to be an athlete. He took a career as a punter, something often overlooked in the grand scope of the NFL, and turned it into something larger than life. But more than that, he's shown that life after the game can be even more exciting, fulfilling, and impactful than anything that happens on the field. For McAfee, it was never just about football. It was about pushing boundaries, testing limits, and above all, having fun. Now, whether he's lighting up a sports broadcast with humor and wit, taking bumps in the wrestling ring, or sharing his success with those in need through his charitable work, Pat McAfee has proven time and again that there's no one way to win at life. As we look back on McAfee's journey that took him from a small town in Pennsylvania to the biggest stages in sports and entertainment, it's clear that the story is far from over.